Hello, I am Jenna Bradford, president of the Tranel Financial Group, and today I have Roch Tranel, CEO and founder, and the original financial planner of the Tranel Financial Group. Today we're going to talk about developing your family's plan. It's very important in the transfer of wealth that's happening that conversation gets started. And Roch, you're one of the few people that I've ever heard encourage others to talk about it with their family. And a lot of times it's just between spouses. It doesn't go beyond that, or it goes to their financial advisor, but it doesn't go to their kids or their grandchildren. And I'm not saying it needs to go to that extreme, but it is something that needs to be had. And you've started it. Mm-hmm. You've started that conversation. You've had it. You've gone through the tough moments. Can I ask you a couple of questions about the why? Why did you start that conversation?
So thanks for having me on today, Jen, and having the conversation with you. I think that I've just seen in our business at the Tranel Financial Group helping clients when one spouse dies and another spouse dies. And I've just seen so many times that where the client's heart, like on their heart, they want it to go this way. They want it to go smooth. They didn't want to leave a mess behind. And so here we are dealing with the children. And I know the parents' heart. I know what the parents want to have happen. And the kids come in and the parents are like, oh, you know, Tom or Jane or whoever, they're going to be phenomenal. You won't have any problems with them. And guess what? They're the biggest problem.
Oh.
So I guess to answer your question, I've seen it done not well.
Right.
In a lot of cases. And I said to myself, I want to figure out how I can do this really well with my family and figure this out and then share that with other people to just have a smoother, so it's just really smoother for them.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. How was it received by your family?
Well, I had to think about the right timing of it. So, you know, Kat and I talked about how we're going to transfer the values of the Tranel family. That's first and foremost. That's what everybody wants. They want to transfer their beliefs and their values, and they want that to be multi-generational. But then behind that, there's your money, because your money has purpose. Your money means something. And so Kat and I had to decide when to have that conversation. And we didn't have a conversation, we had a bunch of mini conversations. And so when our kids graduated from high school and having the conversation about college, and talking about, we had college we're just blessed to be able to pay for our two children's college, right? And so we had a conversation with them when they started college. We had a conversation with them when they graduated from college and were getting their first job. And then along the way, we just had conversations. But the main thing that I guess I would share with the audience and just share with you, it's more about transfer of values and then a transfer of money. Because if you get the money right, you can do legal documents, you can have lots of conversations, balance sheets, all this stuff. But if you don't get the values right, then it's not done well, right? Then there's infighting and just it's not pretty. And we've seen that.
Oh, I'm sure. And that's a great point of view. It's beyond the money, right? It's beyond the money, and yes, it takes money to do these things, but the value behind it really does shape the future, and that's so important to recognize. So I appreciate that point of view.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So if our audience is listening to this, and if you got together with your kids once a year on a family retreat or twice a year, and you said, we're going to talk about family values. Everybody get together and talk about family values. Everybody's going to tag out of this. They're going to be like, I'm too busy. I don't have time. This is going to be one of those things. So what you do, I think the secret sauce is we're getting together to talk about money. Okay, I can be there for that. I can clear my calendar to get together with my mom and dad or grandma and grandpa.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'll clear my calendar for money.
Right.
But I don't think I've got time to have a weekend trip with my parents to talk about the values that I want to transfer to them. You know?
Wow, that's a very interesting way to look. I would have never thought of that.
Yeah.
That's a really good point of view. And I'm sure you've had that with your clients. Okay, and when they do get together on that weekend trip, how do you recommend, or what suggestions do you have for them to start that conversation? So obviously you've gotten them there.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about it. What are the initial starters?
You have to meet people where they're at. So everybody has kids at different levels of maturity, financial maturity, relationship maturity, emotional maturity. So you've got to meet your kids where they're at. You can't have this high level conversation if somebody's still trying to figure life out here, you got to bring it down a little bit. So I think the first thing is just recognize where your kids are at.
Oh, that's a great
where
point.
the family's at.
Yep.
And where they're at with their family and their kids and what have you, and just bring it down and have a conversation around that.
Okay.
And then the conversation can be really vague.
Right.
Mom and I have accumulated some money where we don't feel comfortable sharing exactly how much right now.
Okay.
But we just want to talk about what that would mean to us.
Okay.
If something were to happen to Mom and I, you know, what we want you to do. And it could be, hey, we want you to it could be, I think of a couple that worked really hard to start their business and they never took any vacations, right?
Yeah.
Or, the kids had to work at the family farm or the family business or whatever it is. And they're like, hey, when Mom and I pass away, we all want you to take, I'm going to make this up, $10,000 and go on a nice trip. That's transferring your values along with your wealth, to the next.
That's a great point. Oh, it's a great point of view. I love that. That's just so different, right? It's not, because a lot of people do think about the direct dollar, right? I got X amount of dollars, I want to do this, but this is just a more loving, caring way to say, we've done this for you. This is how we would like you without the pressure associated. That's phenomenal. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was
because a lot of times parents, they'll say, well, I'm going to put, let's say they have 3 kids.
Right.
I'm going to put a third. But for this child, I'm going to they can't get it until they're 45 years old, right? But they're like, oh, I can't tell them while I'm alive because that would create conflict because the other 2 kids are going to get it upon our death, right?
Right.
And it could be whatever. This child is going through maybe a divorce or something and they're trying to protect that person.
Right.
But it's an uncomfortable conversation to have in front of your kids. And you're like, well, when we pass, they'll just have to accept it and get it, right? So you don't want to have those conversations on the weekend trips or the evening that you talk about this or whatever, because that's the stress that all the parents feel. Like, I'm going to have to tell them everything that's in the will and how it's going to go, because that could be uncomfortable if they're not all treated the same.
Right.
So by having the higher level conversation, it takes the pressure off of the parents. You don't have to have this conversation. You're having this conversation up here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So as you stated previously, you have a lot of examples with clients and you've walked through these journeys with them. And what I guess the next thing we want to let everyone know is have the conversation, start those. They're important. And it's one of the awkwardnesses that we all have to deal with. If you would like, our advisors are also welcome to be part of that conversation too. We've had many examples of where Roch has had to step in and really facilitate that. And it's one of those third parties that can help ease the tension and also answer in the most professional and honest way to ensure that your wealth is transferred to how you want it to be with the values that are aligned with that as well. So also reach out to one of our financial advisors as well if you need that and want to partake in that. It's coming and it's here and we're excited to help you and your family.